Hello and welcome back to Boring Dead Gaming, where today we're going to be playing some more Detective Grimoire. So we have found all the characters now. We have been to all the locations. So as he says here, it's because we've sort of done a loop and we've picked up things as we've gone, I think it makes sense to start at the beginning and kind of make our way through, talk to people again, ask them all the new stuff that we found out. I've also found this thing, if you click on them, you can... yeah, you can mark these things about them as suspicious or not suspicious. So, for instance, do we think it's suspicious that Sally only began working in the swamp this year?
Not
Probably
suspicious.
Not. Don't think it's suspicious that she thinks the swamp's disgusting.
Suspicious.
She has long legs. Potentially suspicious. And black leggings, potentially suspicious. Spare clothes to swamp. Dunno. Does not lock away her belongings in the evening. Unable to lock her gift shop in the evening. We'll keep all those things as potentially suspicious for now. But when we maybe have filled up everyone's sort of dialogue with everything else, we'll go through and try and work out what might or might not be suspicious.
These flower petals seem...
They're also here, aren't they?
Looks like this... I can't...
But yeah, let's... we don't need to travel around manually now. We can go back to the swamp dock. We could talk about our findings with this guy.
Try and solve every suspect's challenge topic.
But I think he is literally a hint machine.
It's
So I don't think that's too important. But let's go up to the entrance in case there's anything different there. Remember, we're looking for a bit more of the disguise. I think we're looking for the body piece now.
It's an old statue of Boggy. Is an opportunity. The two characters are an explorer.
I'll just click through stuff
that
that
seems to surround this entire area.
we've had before.
Just an hour.
But I think that's about it for here. The crossroad, there wasn't really anything here before.
Note to self: don't fall in.
There is that though. Okay, so protest guy was the last one we spoke to. If we go to the clearing now, there should be the photographer and his boss. We'll speak to both of them, but let's speak to this guy first. So we have a couple of new subjects. The boggy costume.
I found these designs for a costume, a Boggy costume.
the legendary swamp creature.
Yeah, that's the one.
But these are just a child's drawings, are they not?
You think?
Perhaps. It's difficult to tell.
Richard Remington.
You saw Remington last night, but had you met him before? Did you know him?
I've never really spoken with him, but we've come into contact a few times. Vincent likes to handle that kind of work, and I like to let him.
What do you think of this place? The tourist attraction, I mean.
I can't say I like the idea of a natural area like this becoming commercialized.
I know. I just can't understand why anyone would even try.
I think Mr. Remington had his reasons. He looked like a man with a couple of secrets.
Like what?
I have no idea. If I knew, they wouldn't be secrets.
Okay, we've done his challenge. Let's go through the clues that we haven't shown him now, of which there are quite a few.
What is it? Some evidence from last night's murder? That's great.
Most of these are not going to be
I'm sorry I
relevant.
have not seen that before. That's the food I saw Mr. Remington eating at the cafe last night.
There we go.
Before he got ill and rushed back to his office?
That's right.
This is going down in my notebook. It might be important.
Yes, that's my photograph, taken near the woods at the north end of Boggy's Bog. Have you tried looking there? What is it? Some evidence from last night's murder? That's great. I'm sorry I have not seen that before. What is it? Some evidence from last night's murder?
Yeah, we're going to keep going. We're going to do everything.
That's great. I'm sorry I have not seen that before. What is it? Some evidence from last night's murder? That's great. I'm sorry I have not seen that before.
Okay, so let's ask about the people we haven't asked him about yet.
You should ask someone else. Try showing it to somebody different. I really don't have an opinion. My apologies.
A prolific cameraman with exceptional skills at carrying heavy equipment.
You should ask someone else. Try showing it to somebody different. I really don't have an opinion. My apologies.
So that's basically him done on all of that stuff now. Let's go, let's speak to this weirdo.
What can you tell me about these designs for a boggy costume?
Nothing whatsoever.
You're sure you didn't see anything like this while you were filming yesterday? Wait, hold on a minute. What if
Don't you dare ask.
This costume isn't your doing, is it? Made for your movie, I mean?
My friend, there will be no costumed idiots within the viewfinder of my camera. I can assure you that.
What about your boggy movie? Isn't that gonna be, like, a guy in a costume, or a puppet, or one of those weird robot things?
Technology has been kind to people like me. We no longer have any need for such tomfoolery. I can create a perfectly believable swamp creature within the confines of a computer. Much cheaper, too.
Huh. I suppose you've met with our murder victim, Richard Remington.
Yes, I've been in and out of this place for a while now. Naturally, I've crossed paths with Remington a number of times. Good value, that one. A real raconteur, you know.
You liked him? So far, I'm getting the impression he wasn't the most popular guy around here.
Well, that much is clear, isn't it? The man obviously slipped up somewhere, made an enemy or two, and bam, that's that. You just can't be too careful, can you?
Yeah, I think he did have an enemy or two. Or three. But you liked him.
I respected him. Good head on his shoulders. Good business sense, that man. He understood how to make things work for him. You won't be getting very far discussing that with me. Try someone less important.
A lot of this stuff isn't going to be relevant, but I think we need to go through it all.
If you want an
case.
autograph, a plain sheet of paper will suffice, thank you. I don't really have time to be looking at items from your collection. You won't be getting very far He's a talented man, that Burl. Sometimes I wonder if he'd be better off pursuing his photography full-time, you know. If you want an autograph, I don't really have time.
I'll just skip through all the ones that aren't relevant then.
You won't be getting very... If you want an autograph, I don't really have... You won't be getting... If you want an... I don't really... You won't be getting...
Okay, so I think that's all the clues, isn't it? What about the profiles?
I'm a busy man, and this doesn't look like it's worth my time. I simply don't have time to help you with this. You want me to sign a photograph for you? The world's premier director. The king of wit and whimsy. You met him? You're a lucky man. I'm a busy man. I simply don't have time. Ah, yes. The reason we're all here, of course.
Not me.
Isn't he your prime suspect?
Well, officially, yeah, but I mean...
What an amazing creature! No one has seen him for 60 years and he still manages to get accused of murder. Incredible! Now there's a man who could handle himself.
I'm not so sure.
Well, apart from yesterday, that was just a one-off, wasn't it?
For him, I think so, yes.
And we've done his challenge. So yeah, we're done there. Where to next? Don't think we need to go outside office or in the office. We could go and talk to Folder again. No, we've done his challenge.
I found these designs for a boggy costume.
Oh, some ridiculous new merchandise for tourists to waste their money on.
No, I believe the murderer was dressed like this last night when they attacked Remington.
If they were trying to scare him out of the swamp, they should have spent more time making an accurate design.
What do you mean?
Well, this design is some bizarre hybrid between the real creature and the cartoon character. It simply hasn't been researched properly.
What's wrong with it?
Well, those flippers? Pure guesswork. Nothing but foolish imagination. Nobody knows what Boggy's feet look like. No footprint has ever been recorded.
So tell me, Special Agent Folder, how would you do a better job researching it if nothing has ever been recorded?
Oh, well, that's I mean, it's all a matter of taking the time to... It's just that... But there's no way anyone would believe... Nothing but foolishness.
What can you tell me about your relationship with Richard Remington?
We didn't really have one, and now we definitely don't have one. But look, all I can say is that he was a coward who enjoyed watering down history for his own benefit.
What does that mean?
It means there are some chapters of this swamp's history that he never wanted anyone to know about.
Did he like you sniffing around this museum all the time?
I don't think he knew, to be honest. And even if he did, there's nothing he could have done about it. He has no right to this building. He knows that. We both know that.
Why not? It was part of his tourist attraction, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was kind of brought up and chucked in the swamp, wasn't it? Still missing a couple of big clues.
I've never seen that before, and I never want to see it again. This file goes over some basic differences between the genuine creature and the cartoon character. It's nothing more than a basic overview, really. I have no interest in something like that. Obviously. You're wasting your... I've never seen that before, and I never... I have no interest in... You're wasting your... So, you found it. I wonder who else knows about it.
Ominous.
Well, this design is some bizarre hybrid between the real creature and the cartoon character. I've never seen that before? I have no interest in something like...
Yeah, let's do the other characters then.
This person is of no interest to me. Oh, yes, I know him. He occasionally asks me about the history and biology of the swamp creature.
Yep.
And how they changed his appearance for the cartoon character.
Why did he ask about that?
Because some people are naturally curious. You should give it a try sometime. If I cared about that person... Next time, only show me something if it's a...
Alright. Okay, well, I think we're done with him then. A little clue there. You know, I have a little theory about what I think may have happened. But I won't share it just yet. I don't want to spoil anything if anyone's enjoying sort of having a bit of a guess themselves. Let's go and... yeah, I want to go and talk with her again, and I want to try out the chemistry stuff as well. How do I...
There's a book on the... How fast?
How do I do the chemistry stuff again? Maybe by speaking with her?
I found these designs for a boggy costume. Do you know anything about them?
You're asking me because you can tell I'm experienced with needlecraft and sew my own clothes?
No, but that's a good reason. Let's go with that.
Well, these designs look like they should have stayed where they were.
In the trash?
On paper.
Oh, how come?
Whoever drew them didn't really know what they were doing.
You would have done it differently?
Of course. I am a seamstress. There was a time when I considered sewing my craft, my livelihood.
Really?
When Richard Remington arrived in the swamp years ago, I offered him some of my handmade fabric as a peace offering. I don't think he cared much for it. Most likely he threw it away. A pointless gift from some strange woman.
You've been here so long, you must have crossed paths with Remington a few times. What did you think of him?
That man was a threat to the swamp. We'll be better off without him. Hopefully the curtain will fall on his little tourist attraction as well.
Better off? With a killer on the loose now?
There have been murderers loose in the swamp before.
What are you talking about?
In my time here, I've seen the swamp invaded by men. By hunters. Several times. They're relentless.
What were they hunting? Wait, what about Boggy? Is that why no one has seen him in 60 years?
They always fell short of their ultimate goal. That just meant they came back again and again, doing more harm each time.
But this area is protected by law, right?
It is now, but some men have no respect for laws, of any kind. They tried to get me to leave my home here. I stood my ground.
Obviously. But this whole area is a tourist attraction now. I doubt Remington would have allowed anyone to march into Boggy's Bog with a gun and start hunting down its main attraction.
Oh, we have the challenge top. Let's do that next.
I've been looking into the history of this place.
Oh, really? Did you find anything?
Yeah. You.
You must be confused. You found me today when you barged into my house. Remember?
Yeah, I think it was just that she was living here, yeah?
You were already living in the swamp when the explorer came here 60 years ago.
The explorer? That man they talk about in the museum?
The one who originally discovered Boggy. You know who I'm talking about. His sketches and notes are the only real evidence we have for this creature.
You already have his journal. You learned to read, I assume. What else do you need?
I can't remember. I can't remember the journal. It was quite early on. Is there a page missing?
There's a page missing from the journal. I think you know where it is.
Why on earth would I know something like that?
Because you were the only person here when the explorer visited the swamp. I have a suspicion that the swamp creature wasn't the only thing he discovered.
You're suggesting he gave me a page from the back of his journal. Or what, that I stole it?
Maybe when it was on display?
You took it from the journal
Oh.
while it was on display in the museum. Let's think about this one again. I've been looking into the history.
Oh, really? Did you...
Yeah.
When you remember...
You were already...
That...
The,
You all... You...
there's a page.
You're... Or...
I really have no idea. If I could see it, I might be able to make up my mind.
It doesn't belong in a museum. It belongs here, with me. You understand?
What if I promise I'll return it after I finish clearing up this mess?
Then... I'll show
I was going to
it
say, is it a sketch of her?
Is this you? He drew you into his journal? It's beautiful.
60 years ago, yes. He left the page with me. We agreed the rest of the world would manage without it.
I think there's something on the back.
Ooh, boggy tracks.
Footprints.
Lost page ripped out of the Explorer's journal, given to Weybridge by the Explorer 60 years ago. Features a drawing of Lady Weybridge at 20 years old. Also features drawings of Boggy's feet and footprint. He has 2 toes at the front and 1 at the back. The page proves the footprints were found outside the office were not made by the real Boggy. Well, I think we probably guessed that. Yeah, we do need her chemistry skills. Let's go down the clues first.
You
That's
can
how we do
put
the
that
chemistry.
away. I can't help you with it.
Bog dog.
No, thank you.
Hunting
If
rifle.
you bring... You
Curtain.
can put that away.
Oh, I wonder if the curtain might be the material she gave him.
I recognize some of those men. Unfortunately. They've hunted in the swamp before.
Before it became a protected area?
Before that, yes. And one of them after that.
Oh.
No, thank you. He drew me into his journal. I was 20 years old. That's the end of the story.
I bet it's not. Does this explorer have a name?
Yes?
Are you going to tell me?
No.
Mm.
If you bring me something with liquid on it.
Okay, so let's do the liquid ones. I'm guessing it's all going to be the same stuff, though. Let's do the
Let's
swamp
see.
juice.
First, then tap. And now, we just have to...
Oh, the green one, blue and yellow.
Got it! Now I know what that liquid consists of. I'll write it down in my notes. Was that the same as last time? This was the exact same liquid. Let's see. First, then tap. And now we.
So it's these blueberries and this flower, whatever this is.
Got it! Now I know. I'll write it down and. What's going on here? That was definitely the same as the other tests.
Now we have the leggings.
Let's see. First, then tap the phone. And now. Got it! Now I know what that liquid consists of. I'll write it down in my notes. The swamp slime. It's all the same. It's the exact same liquid again. There's something about that green slime. The fireplace poker, found at the crime scene, and the black leggings are covered in the same swamp slime. Sally's leggings. They link her with the crime scene. I'll have to ask her about it.
But she left them overnight, hadn't she? Or at least she says she did. Okay, well I think we're done here. Oh no, let's ask her about the profiles.
Indoors.
Oh. So I haven't done some of these yet.
I'm not even sure who that. You should ask someone else. Show it to someone who doesn't.
Okay. So she's all used up. Can we go to the cafe next? Let's talk to Harper again.
You said you knew Remington?
He and I knew each other for a long time. I came to work at his tourist attraction in the early days, when he needed help.
Well, what kept you here?
I know most people wouldn't want to work in a place like this. I actually like it here, so I was happy to oblige.
You might like it, but I still don't see why anyone would build a tourist attraction here.
Mr. Remington has his reasons. He probably had several. I don't presume to know what they all were. Even though we were friends, he had some secrets, some hobbies, that I was happy to let him keep secret.
Secrets? Hobbies? A secret hobby?
He was a man with a dream, I can tell you that much.
Yeah, let's look through the other clues we've got.
That's Mr. Remington's old hunting rifle. He usually keeps it around. For whatever reason, he was very fond of that thing. Looks like it was fired recently.
I think we have it on the recording being fired.
That's the same fabric from Mr. Remington's curtains. It's Mr. Remington's fireplace poker. This slime on the handle. It's familiar for some reason. One of Mr. Remington's secrets. I never wanted to know the details, but these men travel the world, seeking mysterious animals to hunt. They consider myths and legends to be the ultimate prey. I can't help you with that. Why don't you show that to someone? I don't know I don't know what to say. It's here a lot. I think he's been putting less effort into his protests recently, which is a shame. I think it's an admirable cause.
Do you talk to him much?
Not really. Sometimes he likes to talk, just casual conversation. He asks how business is going and what everyone likes to eat, nothing of real importance.
I think Echo is key to this. I think he made the costume. I wouldn't be surprised if the chest piece was under all the stuff he's wearing. But I think he was stomping around in the swamp in his costume. I don't know for what reason. I think Remington saw him out of his window and shot at him. And I think he may have even have fallen backwards onto the poker. I don't know. But that's kind of what I'm thinking at the moment. That's my working theory right now. Let's go back to the gift shop. Let's talk to Sally.
What?
So what can you tell me about your relationship with Richard Remington?
I didn't have one. I think I spoke to him twice, ever. He usually seemed really busy, but more like preoccupied.
Preoccupied? Like he was thinking about something else? Something that wasn't this tourist attraction?
Who can say? What do old men think about?
What? Are you implying that I know the answer to that?
Let's do her challenge.
The black leggings you found in your bag this morning, they're covered in the same slime that was on the murder weapon.
Everything in this swamp is covered in slime. What's your angle, Grimoire?
Your black leggings were part of the murderer's costume.
Costume? Is that why someone took them out of my bag last night?
Well, I don't have proof someone else took them.
If I had been wearing them when I committed a crime, do you think I would hand them over to a detective the second he shows up? Besides, look at them. What do you notice?
They're loose and stretched.
They're loose and stretched.
That's right, someone else. Someone larger than me has worn these. They're stretched out, especially at the waist. It's pretty obvious.
So, let's see. Somebody stole them to use in their boggy costume, and then put them back in your bag when they were done?
If you say so. It's not my job to know all the details. It's my job to sell souvenirs. Do you want a souvenir?
Oh, yes, but only if you choose one for me.
You look like you could use something to wind up. You can take this one.
Awesome. Okay, going back to the Boggy's feet hidden in a bucket of water thing again. Talk about the clues. That's one of my last clues.
I
Interesting.
always thought it was weird that his feet are in that little bucket all the time.
It's just part of the character, I guess. I'm surprised they don't sell some sort of boggy foot soaker.
And that would be the one product I'd consider buying. I have no idea what that is. Where are you keeping all this stuff? In your pocket?
Fair point.
Is that one of your clues? I have no idea what...
There we go. Oh, just Echo. Okay. So we've got one more challenge to do then. Because I don't have one for the murder victim, obviously, or Boggy. And that's Echo.
Yeah, I have a pretty good view of him from here. Anyone supporting animal rights is okay in my book. His protests used to have a bit more energy, though. He spends more time inside his tent these days.
What's he doing in there?
I'm happy to say, I don't know.
There might be something I can ask Echo about.
That one.
Echo spends less time holding the protest sign and more time in his tent. I wonder if Echo can tell me what he's been doing that's more important than his protest.
And then we're done. So let's go back to protest now. We'll go talk to Echo again.
Ah. Show it to somebody else.
He doesn't want to know about that. That.
No thanks, my friend.
Right, anyway. Any more profile? Okay, we've asked him about everyone. Let's do his challenge.
I heard you've been spending less time protesting recently and more time, in your tent. Normally I wouldn't pry, but it's my job to ask...
Untouched people have even noticed something like that. I usually get the impression everyone else is doing their best to ignore me.
So, you admit it's true?
You can put your notebook away. There isn't really any reason for it. Nothing worth writing down, at least.
Well, if it's not worth writing down, maybe it's worth hearing.
In that case, you'd forget it.
How do you know? maybe it would echo in my mind.
Look, if you take a guess and get it right, I promise not to deny it.
Let's work out why Echo was hidden away in his tent. Notebook time.
It's his journal, isn't it?
You've been in your tent, hiding from Boggy.
Why not?
I heard you've been spending less and more time, in
In that...
notebook time.
Weather?
You've been in your tent because it's been raining.
Why not?
I
This-
heard you've been spending less time and notebook time.
Okay, what about the ghost?
You've been hiding in your tent because the swamp is haunted.
Why not?
It says challenge complete. I don't feel like we've done it,
I
though.
heard you've been spending
Are you...
Must be taxes.
notebook time. You've been hiding in your tent from the tax man.
Okay. This is 95% here. I don't feel like the challenge is done. If I go on these profile, oh yeah, I mean it's Arkling.
I think it's time I went to talk to Officer James.
Chapter 4, the beginning of the end. Okay. I want to go back to his
I'm
tent.
impressed someone managed, and I...
Look at his
It's a
journal again.
Bad news. I don't know what to do. They'll shut... There's...
I don't know why when he was saying what he was doing in his tent, I couldn't just say, you've been writing in your journal. Whatever. Okay, so I'm missing a clue and part of the costume, which I think he might be wearing under there, I think. Missing some notes. I've got... I think I might be missing one for Boggy on here. I'm not quite sure how to get that. But we should go back to talk to Officer James then.
You finally returned. Well, did you find the swamp creature? Where is he?
I didn't find him.
What? You're not getting paid to wander about aimlessly, Grimoire. Get back out there.
I don't need to.
Final chapter, Boggy's criminal record.
Why not? I thought he was our prime suspect.
Not anymore.
Didn't you find photographic evidence of Boggy from last night? Let me see that photo. If that's not Boggy, what is it?
I found designs for the costume in a trash can. Not only that, I collected all the pieces of the costume myself. Well, nearly all of them. There's still the one that...
But the footprints at the scene of the crime! How can you prove these don't belong to a real creature?
Where's the picture? What have we got the picture of his feet? Oh, this one.
What's this? I thought there were no records of a footprint anywhere.
No public records. The footprints at the crime scene don't match the ones on this page. They were just a product of these slippers. A part of the costume.
But Grimoire, this costume, it doesn't have claws of any kind. How do you explain the 3 wounds on the victim's chest?
Here was a poker.
The prongs match up with the wounds perfectly. The handle's even covered in slime, see?
But this swamp slime was one of the reasons Boggy became a suspect in the first place. Surely this only incriminates the creature further.
You'd think so, wouldn't you? But that slime, it's not exactly what you think.
I think it's the swamp juice, yeah?
This stuff is an uncanny resemblance to the so-called swamp slime. A bunch of it was stolen from the storeroom of the cafe, which reminds me.
What is that exactly?
A poisoned hot dog. It's the second reason that the murderer broke into the storeroom. He put this green powder on the entire supply, just to make sure.
To make sure of what?
To make sure Remington got ill and had to return to his office.
Remington went back to his office? Alone?
Final chapter, the Moida.
I've been looking through your evidence, Grimoire. One piece in particular seems critical to me. I think we need to work
The
out.
video footage? Vincent Vanderpeer filmed it last night, at the exact moment of the murder, I believe.
Well, exactly. I think we can both agree these sounds in the background. They're essential in our mystery. Could you talk me through them? Just rearrange the descriptions on the left to match the sounds on the right. Drag them around and keep swapping. And if you want to hear the sound...
No problem. I can always check my case.
Well, I remember this. So I think the culprit opens Remington's door as the creaking. Remington cries out in shock as Boggy appears. Remington fires his hunting rifle. Did these move around? What was that claim? Maybe he stabs okay, maybe he does stab Remington with that. Remington cries out in shock and falls backwards. Rips off the fabric in his office. Lands on the planks.
I think that's it.
Ah, excellent. There's just two small details bothering me. First of all, if Remington ripped off a piece of his curtains, why wasn't it found at the crime scene? What happened to it?
It was inside the head.
Turns out the murderer took that piece of fabric and concealed it inside the head of the costume. Then he fled the crime scene to hide all the parts in different areas of the swamp.
Ah, well, that's my problem. If Remington fired his rifle, how did the assailant survive and manage to escape? Did Remington miss his target?
At point blank? A man of his experience? I don't think so. In fact, the answer to that question is the very last link in our chain. The one thing that has eluded me so far. I'll drag the clue items from the left onto my drawing here, and we'll see what happens with the original...
Yeah, so we're missing the chest piece, obviously. So let's just fill those in.
Wait! You never found the body piece! The torso!
You're right, and I never would have found it. Not lying around. Not like the others.
But what does this have to do with the murderer surviving the rifle shot?
This torso is probably made up of some thick material. Something covering the culprit's entire upper body. I believe it may have even been enough to
soften the impact from a bullet! Aha!
Exactly.
Well, let's put your theory to the test. Where is that last piece of the costume?
It's Echo, isn't it? It must be Echo.
But how? We looked everywhere. Not a single clue.
Simple. He's still wearing it.
I don't know what you want with me. Sounds like you two were smart enough to uncover the real criminal in this swamp, and lucky enough to have somebody else deal with him for you. You worked it out. He had his rifle on him. He got half a glance at me and pulled the trigger without hesitation.
But why would he do that? You were dressed as Buggy. He shouldn't be pointing his gun at a unique scientific specimen, not to mention his main attraction.
You're right. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense, does it? Not unless you're in on the secret. Echo. leads me to believe Richard Remington was here to hunt Boggy. Echo forgot to tell me that Richard Remington was here to hunt Boggy. What is that?
Maybe it's the hunting photo.
The hunting photo was framed because Richard Remington was here to hunt Boggy. A secret that Remington
I thought framed in the
hid
picture
his
frame, but
office.
no, it's probably
The
this.
hunting photo leads me to believe Richard Remington was here to hunt Boggy.
Final chapter: The Hunter and the Hunted.
A secret society, an order of hunters, seeking out mysterious and elusive creatures.
The Order goes further than this one man, and much further than this one swamp.
The whole thing is kind of distressing. I knew something was wrong as soon as I stepped into that office.
I'm glad you've finally come around. It's not just
But what about Remington? He was a member of this order?
He made Boggy his own personal project, his own obsession. For years he hunted the creature, the potential perfect addition to his collection.
But he owned the tourist attraction. He set it up himself, didn't he?
He did. It was just his way of forming a legal loophole. Since the area became protected, he and his friends were unable to come here for hunting anymore. Boggy's Bog was just a front for his own little game. A man pursuing a creature.
A creature that might not even exist.
And that's why Remington kept a rifle nearby at all times?
Well, exactly. He didn't want to take any chances.
Now, don't you see? I did this place a service. Did Boggy a service. That creature, he can live in peace again.
Can he? You tried to frame him for murder. You wanted everyone to think he was some kind of ruthless predator?
Well, think about it. Once he became suspected of murder, they'd have no choice but to shut this whole place down. Everyone would finally realize they had no business here.
How can you know what Boggy wanted? He might not be what you're...
Detective,
It's
finished. Well, don't be angry. You should be glad. It's finally time to leave the swamp. You have another job to do.
I don't know.
Not that it makes any difference to somebody like you, but I never intended to kill him. Just to scare him. Convince him Boggy wasn't going to let him live here in peace any longer. But, true to form, he had his rifle on him. You worked out the rest yourself.
It makes a difference.
Well, Mr. Everstone, I'm afraid you'll still have to come with us. Fortunately, there's a police station just a few miles down.
Hey, wait!
Oh. Boggy.
Looks like you solved more than one mystery tonight.
There we go. So that was the first Detective Grimoire game then, and it you can see that it kind of because I came into it starting as playing Tangle Tower, and that was obviously a slightly larger mystery, more characters, more locations, sort of more steps to the mystery, more puzzles. So yeah, no, it was interesting to see where it all started. It was interesting, it was fun. I mean, the voice work's still fantastic. I mean, it was nice just to go around and talk to the different characters and try and put everything together. And it makes me look forward... Oh.
Well, what did they decide to do?
We had Mr. Everstone questioned. He was happy to tell us everything he knew. A number of rumors going around the department. have been confirmed.
And Remington's office?
Searched down to the last detail. And, well, we agree with you, but I know what you're thinking. I'd love to put an end to it, just the same as you, but there's always...
Are we going after them?
We'd better be.
And that leads directly into Tangle Tower. I don't know who the little girl was supposed to be, weirdly, and she's not in Tangle Tower, or may well not be in the Mermaid's Tongue either. But this sort of secret society of cryptid hunters thing does tie into Tangle Tower directly, so that is interesting. And if you're watching this first, you haven't seen that other series, I do recommend going and watching that following this if you enjoyed it. Very much the similar sort of thing, but you can see that they've, as I said, sort of maybe ramped up the elements of the game a bit more. And I think the illustrations were fun in this, but they take that up to another level, I think, in the next game. And I was just about to say there that, it makes me look forward to the third game even more so, which I think at the moment it's just saying 2024 in terms of release. Nothing more specific than that just at this moment. But I've wishlisted it. I'll definitely be keeping an eye on it. And when it comes out, I'll definitely be playing it on the channel. And I hope you'll join me then if you've enjoyed these. So thanks very much one more time. Hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed this. That's always appreciated, as is leaving a comment. Let me know what you thought about this game and the story and how it wrapped up everything. Anything you like, really. And if you're watching this and haven't already subscribed to the channel, would be amazing too if you would do that. So thanks very much, and I hope to see you next time. Bye for now.